Hello, I am super excited for our first online discussion. We agreed earlier that this is going to be our major media of exchange of information as we mean to achieve our dream and our destiny together. We must remember all the time our mantra, which is in adversity we thrive. In this adversity, we shall thrive by beginning to learn so that we can continue with our journey towards our destiny. This program today will start with the last chapter in Form 4 History and Government, which is the electoral processes and functions of governments in other parts of the world. Why other parts of the world? Because already in Form 3 and part of Form 4, we have learned about the government in Kenya. Therefore, we are going to look outside our own country and we are going to learn about other forms of government so that when we go visiting there, and even if we don't, we can still understand how they function. In this chapter, we shall look at 3 different countries. 1, Britain, 2, USA, and 3, India. I like using the method of known to unknown, and that is why I'm going to drag in the structure, function, and the processes of government in Kenya so that from there we can be able to understand how the other governments in other parts of the world function. So today we are going to look at the types of government, and we are going to look at the 4 countries. Country number 1 is Kenya. Kenya has a devolved type of government. This is where we have the transfer and allocation of powers and authority from the central authority to the local levels. And that is why we say that in Kenya we have 2 levels of government. Level 1, which is the highest, national government, and level 2, we have the county government. And we have studied about that. We know that in Kenya, we are the overall in charge of the whole country. The chief executive officer of the whole country is the president, who is both the head of state and the head of government. Later, in another lesson, we are going to understand the difference between the head of state and the head of government. So in Kenya, we have a devolved government with 2 levels, 1, national level, and 2, county level. In Britain, we have what we call a constitutional monarchy. This is whereby we have the traditional king and queen being the head of state, and we have a prime minister who is the head of state. The 2 work together to run and manage the government. So in Britain, we have a constitutional monarchy. In USA, we have the type of government that we call federal, more or less like what we have in Kenya, because the country is looked at as one unit, which is what we refer to as national government or federal government. Federal means all the states put together and being governed as one nation. And we have the other level, which are the state governments. The state governments are like 50 countries, each one of them being ruled independently with their own constitution, way much different from what we have in Kenya, but similar. Because when you look at USA, we have also 2 levels of government. Level 1, federal government, which we can also call national government, just like what we have in Kenya. Then we have level 2, the state government, which we can compare with what we have as county government in Kenya. So USA is very similar to Kenya. When you come to India, we also have a federal government. Again, very similar to Kenya and to USA, whereby we have the whole country being looked at as one political unit, being ruled by both the president and the prime minister. So this national level government, we refer to it as federal government or union government or central government in India. The other level is the state, or what we also call the local government, which is very similar to what we have as county government in Kenya. We already said that in India, we have both the president and a prime minister. The president is the head of state, while the prime minister is the head of government. So a quick summary on that one. Kenya, devolved government, distribution of power and authority from higher levels to the lower levels, with two levels, one county level and two national level. We have only the president being both the head of state and head of government, to be explained later. Britain, constitutional monarchy, where we have the traditional monarchy headed by the king or queen being the head of state, and we also have a prime minister who is the head of government. USA having a federal government, one national unit, which we refer to as the federal government or the national government, and we have a lower level of state government. Here we only have a president who is both head of state and head of government, just like in Kenya. When you come to India, we have a federal government, which is also referred to as a union government, central government, that is at the highest level. Then at the lower level, we have the state or the local governments. Again, in India, we have both a president and a prime minister. President being the head of state and the prime minister being the head of government. So for this lesson, the assignment takeaway is for you to try and differentiate between a head of state and a head of government. Two, to identify each country and the levels of government that are there. I hope that we now understand other countries, trying to see them from our own point of view, from our own beloved country. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, kindly post them on our WhatsApp wall, and anybody can answer while I will come in to moderate the answers. Thank you. See you